The amount of awesomeness for Iron Man suit? A solid 100%. But are all those sciencey and technology stuff really true? Or are they just movie only material? Number 1. The Nanotech Suit. This scene is so amazing that I watched it 1,000 number of times and it's still not boring. Tony suggests that this is a nanotech suit with no further explanation.
It's nanotech, you like it?
But what exactly is nanotech?
I'm glad you brought this up.
In simple words, nanotech means using of really small particles, that is the nanoparticles, for achieving some objective. In our case, structuring the Iron Man suit. But it doesn't work in the same way as it does in the movies.
Crazy, huh?
Why? Number 1. Where are the nanoparticles? I do understand that the nanoparticles are really small. But all those billions of small particles will occupy some space. Let us consider the thickness of the suit to be around 2 cm. The average human body surface area to be 1.9 square meters. The total volume of the suit, including the extra armory popping out of his hands, should be approximately equal to 0.05 cubic meters or 50 liters, which means you need a bigger suitcase than this to hold your nano suit. 2. Really heavy. Again, the nanoparticles are small, but in total, it's a freaking metallic armor and it ought to be heavy. How the F did Tony Stark just wear it on his chest so easily? Number 3. Materials used. You cannot just go around and select a random material for making such a suit. It requires electrical conductivity, heat insulation, magnetic capabilities if that is how the nanotech suit works, and high tensile strength. There is no one material in this whole world with all these capabilities together. Also, if the Edith glasses are nanotech, why should Tony even remove them? It could simply disintegrate into the suit. So, the amount of coolness for this piece of tech, a solid 10 out of 10. But the amount of science in it, just a 2 out of 10. Number 2. Jarvis, Edith and Friday.
Hello?
Hello, Peter. I am Edith, Tony Stark's augmented reality security and defense system.
Having a personal AI assistant to do all your work is really helpful. He does all your work, he assists you in everything, and is really cool to use. I do have my own AI system. Amar, artificial man-made assistance robot. Hey Amar.
Shut up, da, stupid fellow. Continue with the video. Yeah, it seems.
Alright, I'll go to Alexa. Hey Alexa.
Shut up, da, stupid fellow. Get lost.
Very respectful people, huh? Yep, having a personal AI assistant is not so very rare nowadays, considering the fact that we already have Siri, Alexa, Bixby and Sophia. Having a Edith level AI is not so very far away. The amount of coolness for this piece of tech, a 10 out of 10. And the amount of science in this piece of tech, also a 10 out of 10. Number 3. The flight capability. The most iconic thing about this suit is its flight capability. Come on, I would give anything to have such a flight capability.
Look at that guy's face. Flying, ah.
Ha ha ha.
The suit's flight and primary attack system includes the rocket boots and the gloves in his hand, which are called the repulsors, aka the thrusters.
This is Support Team Blue Zero, sending coordinates for suspected.
Tony doesn't have any chemical fuel system, except for his arc reactor which provides some form of energy there. Considering this, we can assume that the thrusters used are ionic in type. Ionic thrusters in the size of a palm and a foot do not have enough thrust to carry a heavy armor with a man in it. So, the flight capability with such an accuracy and speed is a big no for now. But I really do appreciate these attempts.
Are you even pulling? Are you on my team? Just represent, pull.
All right, let's go. In the Civil War's Mjolnir lifting scene, we can see Tony Stark and Rhodey trying to lift the Mjolnir using their Iron Man gloves. The thrust provided by those tiny thrusters in their gloves are completely useless. They could have simply tried using their bare hands, that would have given them more force. The amount of coolness that this piece of tech has, a 8 out of 10. The amount of science in them, a 4 out of 10. Number 4. Supersonic flight. We can see Iron Man traveling at extreme amount of speeds, sometimes faster than sound itself. If we recall our elementary physics, Newton's first law of motion, a body will remain in motion until an external force is applied on it. That is, Tony will experience inertia. Now what is inertia? Look at this scene. The bus is turning, but the people are still in a straightforward motion. In a similar way, the suit will turn or stop, but Tony won't. This will affect his organs internally, and a positive case of brain hemorrhage is possible. The amount of awesomeness in this scene, a 7 out of 10, but the amount of science in it, a 1 out of 10. Number 5. Suit strength. We've seen that the suit is really powerful and strong and is able to fight off aliens and even super soldiers. The suit is a form of exoskeleton powered through some form of actuators. Really powerful actuators and hydraulics are pretty huge in size, like in the Hulkbuster suit. But we never got the chance to see the actuators in the Iron Man Nanotech suit. On screen, that suit was much more like a tight spandex kind of armor, and the actuators weren't visible on screen. I wonder where they were placed.
I seriously don't know how you fit your head into that helmet.
Number 6. Awesome suit up. Flying parts and flying suits that comes to the user in the time of the need. In our case, Tony Stark is mind-boggling. Imagine me in a fight, ready to all suit up, and I call on Amar. Amar, send me suit.
Dreams, stupid fellow. Dream.
Ha ha ha.
The suit was designed in such a way that it comes flying to the user. Now, there are two things. The individual navigation system and the flight system. One, the suit has various methods to detect Tony, from GPS systems to simple Bluetooth systems. In this scene, we see a laser system is used to orient the suit properly on Tony. This is particularly clever because a linear path is set for the suit to align perfectly on the user. 2. The paths need to come flying to the user, which means they need their own thruster systems, which again means they need a power system to supply fuel. We don't see any fuel tanks or mini arc reactors present in those flying paths. And again, if those were present, it will unnecessarily occupy space when suiting up.
Is it too much to ask for both?
No, but I don't think both are possible now. Amount of science, a 6. Amount of awesomeness, a total 10. Number 7. Arc reactor. The arc reactor is able to produce immense amount of energy. That small little circle on Tony's chest is able to power the Hulkbuster long enough to kick Hulk's ass. Now, we can safely assume that the arc reactor doesn't work on nuclear energy, which is by far the best source for such a huge amount of energy. If it did so, Tony would have died by now out of radioactive poisoning, which did not happen. The arc reactor possibly works by sustained fusion of hydrogen atoms. MIT believes that such an arc reactor can be built by 2025. It is noteworthy that palladium, used by Tony Stark in Part 1 and improvised in Part 2, is useful in making hydrogen fuel. So green technology, a big yes. With all that being said, is it possible to place the arc reactor in your chest? First, a big no. For that to do, you'll have to remove your ribcage's sternum, the hard one which you can feel here. If you remove the sternum, you leave the ribcage weak and it is bound to hurt the lungs. So it's a bit stupid to drill a hole in your chest. Amount of science, a 5 out of 10. Amount of stupidity, a 5 out of 10. Number 8. suit insulation and dampening. See what happens when this metal is being hit? It vibrates. Every metal when hit vibrates. But for this pillow, it doesn't. Which means this pillow dampens or reduces the force when hit. We see Iron Man being hit really hard, which means he should have been hurt really hard too. But that's not the case in the movies. We see that Tony Stark pretty much survived every attack or impact on him. So I guess he had a really good insulating material and a dampening material within his suit. But we weren't introduced to any. There's this material called sorbathene, which can very easily absorb huge amount of forces. This can be used. But sorbathene produces enough amount of heat for every impact on it, which means the Iron Man suit must have a really good AC conditioning system, or Tony's gonna sweat nastily.
Whatever.
Hope you enjoyed the video. How will you rate all these cool tech? Let us know in the comments down below and subscribe for more nerdy superhero stuff.